Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to FM episode 2896. It's Mike Matthews here at Café Anyway, somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I've got a suggestion for you here on FM episode 2896. When life goes by you so fast, goes by so quick, you want to try to remember things that you did and take pictures, lots of pictures on your phone, but make sure that you don't delete them,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
lose them, back them up. A lot of people leave them on their phone, and then they lose the phone,
Mike's
and they lose the pictures.
Daily
This is what I've discovered,
Podcast.
and I'm so careful with this sort of thing. I am like, I think back to pictures that I don't have anymore. And that's just a part of getting older. When you get into your 50s, do I have those pictures? One of the things when my mom passed away was I needed to get all of the pictures. Even though they were sitting in Florida, in humid, damp Florida, in my mom's humid, damp house with the molds everywhere. It's on the pictures. I'm like trying to save things. The heavy, moist atmosphere, it's difficult. And then you got the digital pictures. You get a little bit of water on that, forget it. It's gone. So I'm trying to back up everything. Now, Google Photos used to make it so easy. They did it for free. And the way Google does it is they rope you in with their free products, and right when you get all dependent on them and everything, and then they start charging you, and you're, wait, I wanted that. I got to pay for that now? How much? Oh, it's only $10 a month. That's not too bad. But I was cheap, and I didn't pay for it, and I used this one particular Google Photos account that, let's just say, it got taken away from me due to some things that happened I can't go into here.
And here's today's podcast picture.
They were taken away from me because, well, basically somebody else owned the Google Photos. So I lost all these photos that I had saved for the past, I'd say, 4 years. When was it that Google decided to start charging us for using their Google Photos? Was that 2021? So I lost all those pictures, and some of them, here's the trick that I should have done. I'm going to tell you this trick. If you don't know, this is going to help you a lot. The podcast picture, by the way, is from a year ago. I was trying to find a picture from a year ago. And it's difficult to do now because I can only go up to a certain amount of time back in time. But the late, great Basil the Boxer went to this particular spot in the podcast picture many times with me in the fine town of Benita, right along the water there. I always forget the name of this park, but it's got this cool house it's got a little geodesic dome on it that looks very homemade. And there's a bunch of old piers that are gone, and all there are a bunch of pieces of wood just sticking out of the water that have been battered by the Bay Area waves for eons and eons, but they still stay there. And there was a nice sunset happening, and the beach there, the sand is slightly black because of all the driftwood that's in the water. And then there's probably some kind of petroleum products and oil and whatnot that's gotten into the beaches as well. So it's like a black beach, the sand, and not exactly the cleanest little beach.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
Because I bathe in unclean beaches. Yes. Thank you for pointing that out again, sir. To your credit. Thank you. No, thank you. But in this land of Ameritopica, my point is, if you have access to a Google Photos account, let's just say your company uses Google for their Gmail, and you want to upload a bunch of pictures there. But then there is always the threat that maybe that company, they decide one day they're going to stop using Google. There goes all your pictures. So to avoid that, what you do is you share. That's right. go to the share function in Google Photos and share it with another account that you have. And for free, you will have access. Even after that account gets taken away from you, you will still have access to the shared file.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Yes, because it is a danger to lose all those pictures. Now, I have the pictures saved to an external hard drive. And I'm trying to also save these pictures to other places. I don't know how these YouTubers do it, especially the travel YouTubers that get all this video and audio of places that they go to. This one guy I watch, RV or TV, Russ. Oh my gosh, the amount of footage that he shoots. I don't know where he saves all this. I know he occasionally will show a little bit inside his RV, which is actually like a converted Mercedes van, one of those white vans that you see all over the Bay Area, and they park right in the middle of the street and you can't get around them. They just stop right there, turn on their hazards. Yeah, I'm just going to stay right here. And meanwhile, they back up traffic and it causes all kinds of hazards. It should be illegal. But no, he's in one of these Mercedes converted vans. And he does that because if it was a full-on huge RV, he would have a little more trouble getting in and out of parking spaces. He has a lot of difficulty as it is with this big van, but it's a little bit more his size that he likes. And he's into converting buses and vans into RVs.
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
And he remembers the Mr. Microphone commercial where people are in a convertible driving by your van going, hey, that's a cool van. But he has that set up. And occasionally he'll show this massive computer system that he has where his GoPro, all the video he's shooting, because he just turns on the cameras and just shoots. And they're all filming at the same time. The side of the van, the top of the van, all the cool shots. Like, let's say if he's driving over this really neat bridge, going over this huge chasm, he wants the shots from all sides. So as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. So he's got to fill up all this storage space. And that's the big money maker here. Is apparently nobody's offering free storage space. Except, well, YouTube still allows you to upload for free. Because they make the money off of you.
Anyway.
We're at Café Anyway. Yes, anywhere that you're not paying for the product, someone's making money off of you. You're the product. So that's how that all works, and you know that, a lot of that. Or maybe you didn't know that, now I filled you in, and you're welcome. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about how Gen Zers talk. I'm discovering that, remember how we were all just going insane about upspeak, uptalk, and vocal fry? Those were the two big things 10 years ago that everybody was starting to notice with the Kardashians. Because every sentence they were ending would end on an up note, and everything that they said sounded like it was a question, because everyone was really insecure about what they were saying. And then there was this other thing called the vocal fry, which is really in the back of the map. And they just kind of do this kind of thing, vocal fry voice. You don't hear that as much, but you still occasionally will hear that kind of. It's also a sign of insecurity because it's not full-throated. It's being too, it's being held back. It's like you're being held back. Like somebody has put chains around your voice and you're not able to do a full discussion, a full talk, because you're holding it. You're being that. So restricted. Thank you. Now there's a thing that I've noticed, and that is Gen Z, the Gen Z talk. And what is the Gen Z talk? Well, to tell you, I'm going to tell you about the sad tale of the space, the NASA astronauts that went up in that Boeing vehicle.
It's a trap!
Don't do it! They did, but they did do that. They went to the International Space Station, and I've seen them live on the NASA channel, two very brave individuals, and they're up there and they're doing all kinds of research, and they're going to be stuck up there till next year. Now, the way I told that to you just now was conversational. It was interesting. It was engaging. It was as if I was right there with you. And I am right there with you. But let's listen to what a Gen Zer would say if they were telling the story. 2 astronauts parked at the International Space Station since early June will return with SpaceX instead of on the Boeing vehicle that brought them there. This is how I've... Now, you're really... What, Mike? What? I don't understand. No, it's true. This is how I've heard that kind of cadence talk in the way that certain Gen Zers are talking. It's as if they're caught up in the reading of it.
Mike is awesome.
Thank you, Rob. Oh, so the past couple podcasts, I've been relying on a lot of his material that he finds. And I produce his podcast, and he is heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and he is on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour.
Internet was buzzing over potential appearances by a special musical guest, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, but in the end, neither showed up. Toby, how did this happen? How did this rumor even start?
This turned into a very fascinating case study in how the internet does spread rumors. I mean, it started from a single anonymous blue checkmark account on X with 600,000 followers. They tweeted out how they were sworn to secrecy, but a big guest was potentially on the cards. But then things really got out of control when the White House political director tweeted out a bee emoji, seemingly confirming rumors that it was Beyonce that would be the surprise guest. But then she walked it back, saying the bee meant nothing, and used the classic excuse of, my kid accidentally tweeted it out. That's always a classic. By that point, though, it was too late. The rumor mill was fully turning. TMZ actually reported.
All right, there you go. So it's that kind of talk where you are just not ever taking a breath, and I guess he's trying to tell the story, but he never ends his sentences, and it just go, and how much can we cram into this? And a lot of that is because they're watching too much TV. They're watching too much oh my gosh, any of the news channels, CNN, Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox, it's all just blah, 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 blah. It's rapid fire. As much words as you can throw out every mouth for fast, like that. And I know as we get older, we're like, slow down. What was that phone number again? So what was that website again? Slow it down. Okay, here's the website. www.mikesdailypodcast.com. They slow it down maybe too much. But at the same time, when they're young, like the Gen Zers, like the early millennials, I know someone who's in radio now. When she's on the radio, she'll tell a story, and she tells it really, really fast and doesn't take a breath, doesn't relate it, doesn't make it anything at all conversational. It's too rapid fire. This is something I've noticed. I don't know if you've noticed this with the young folk. Maybe this is how I sounded. I should go back and listen. Maybe I did sound a little something like that. Oh, circa 1990.
Currently at 75 degrees with Mike Matthews inside another 50-minute music hour.
John Cicada song. That's awesome.
Most Music 187 with Mike Matthews inside another 50-minute music hour. And we've got Roxette and Bryan Adams on the way. And Gabby Estrada of Santa Barbara spun her way to a fabulous 3-day, 2-night trip to Catalina's luxurious Hotel Metropole with ocean transport on the Catalina Express. With Summer Splash, it's Summer Spin on the Y97 Wheel of Fortune. Your chance to spin starts Monday morning only on your destination station, Y97.
All right, well, maybe I did talk very fast when I was younger. Maybe it's a young thing. Okay, got it. That's how you can tell when people are young. And when you're listening to the radio or a podcast and you don't actually see them, is because they're talking really quickly, I guess. Well, this is just amazing, insightful podcast type stuff. But yes, they're still stuck in space. No! They announced the decision at a briefing today, or it was yesterday, or anyway, which means astronauts Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams will remain in orbit until Chewbacca saves them, or until early next year when a SpaceX craft is scheduled, Elon Musk will come to the rescue. The decision is a setback for Boeing, which has spent years developing the Starliner vehicle that transported the astronauts to the space station. That was back on June 6th. During its flight to the station, several thrusters temporarily failed, and engineers identified additional helium leaks within its propulsion system. That story from the Wall Street Journal. In another interesting piece of business news, the U.S. Appeals Court struck down a rule adopted by President Joe Biden's administration designed to raise a pay for tipped workers, citing a recent U.S. Supreme... Sorry, I went Gen Zer there. Hold on. Gen Z-lennial. I got to go back to Gen Xer talk. Yeah, it was President Joe Biden's administration had designed a rule to raise pay for tipped workers. And the U.S. Appeals Court cited a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling that curtailed federal agencies' abilities to issue regulations. It said, no, Joe, no, stop. Stop it, Joe, stop. Let's see. The rule required employers to pay tipped workers the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, and not the lower $2.13 minimum wage for tipped work. Yeesh, that's tiny. For non-tip tasks that take up more than 20% of their time, or 30 consecutive minutes. Those were the specific rules. The rule replaced the regulation adopted during Donald Trump's administration that said workers could be paid the tipped minimum wage if they primarily performed tipped duties. So the rule was contrary to the... Well, they thought it was contrary.
What was that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. You set it up, so... Rules. And now... that guy there and Kamala are trying to help people with the tips. Not have to pay taxes on tips. Hey, my mail. What's going on, my mail? What's up, my mail? Well, my mail is not showing up the way it used to because the U.S. Post Office, the U.S. Postal Service is going to slow down delivery times to some customers as it's seeking to shave billions from its annual operations expenditure. So depending on location, time, and distance, expect time to deliver will increase for some zip codes. So more exactly where that is, go to the USPS.com website. I think it is USPS.com. That story from Newsweek.com. And then we also had this little bit that Nestle, sweet dreams you can't resist. NESTLES. Was that how?
Hey there, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Nestle CEO abruptly ousted. Was he outed too? No, he was ousted. Max Schneider, Nestle chief executive. He was pushed out of the company, and he learned he would be losing his job just 24 hours before it was announced. Schneider was asked to resign by Nestle's chairman. The surprise move comes after Schneider was grappling with a string of issues over the past 2 years, muddling what had been viewed by many as a strong run as the Nestle CEO over the past 8 years. The CEO change came after mounting concern over several months among senior leaders and board members over whether Schneider was still a good fit for Nestle's deeply rooted culture. Let's see. They increasingly heard from other senior employees that Schneider had trouble connecting with many of Nestle's customers during market visits. Wonder what that is. He's got some kind of... got a little antisocial thing happening? And appeared increasingly focused on the short term. Nestle brands include Gerber, Haagen-Dazs, Purina, pet food, and all of your little chocolate things. I think they also still have, what is it called? The coffee thing with the little Nespresso. There we go. I had heard once that if you went to this one place in Switzerland, that's where they got their, Switzerland, I think, is where they got their headquarters. They got all these Nespresso machines everywhere. That just sounds like paradise to me.
What is the matter with you?
I'm just telling you the truth. And finally, Workday. I used to work close to Workday. They're over there in Pleasanton. Their shares surged after executives said the software company would sharply increase profitability over the next 3 years. They have a nice campus. You walk around, they've got a volleyball court. They got this big area, and I was walking around there on an early Saturday morning, and a security guard showed up and said, "What are you doing here, sir? Do you work here?" And I go, "No, I work over there, but I thought I'd pass by." And he goes, "Get out. Get out! What is the matter with you?" They make software for business tasks such as managing personnel. They will save money in part by being selective in hiring and using artificial intelligence in its call centers, they say. And financial.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Like that bit of AI there. So that is some interesting stuff. Look who is here right now. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Mike Matthews, I sure hope you get to enjoy one of my new snow globes that I made and designed for fall. It's full of AI, Mike Matthews. Excellent. Wow. It still looks like an egg. It's not an egg, Mike Matthews. It's actually a snow globe made for fall. It says there, this is a snow globe made for fall, which has AI inside. Let me open it up real quick. And that was the sound effect of me cracking open an egg. Yes, I'm an excellent Foley artist too. Oh no, that's got yolk inside. Is that what it is? AI is actually yolk? What? The yolk's on me. Mike Matthews, I don't know what you're talking about. Quit putting down my fantastic product of snow globes made for fall with AI inside. Uh-huh. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Wow, you used to talk really fast.
Mike makes music.
I used to talk really fast, sing really fast, and then I would dance around the place, and everybody would go, "Oh, look, it's all over your face. That is some kind of thing that's on your face. What is that called? Those are little whiskers." And I like the name because my dad's name was Paul. Paul is a great name. It's also Paul McCartney's first name. So is Ringo. Ringo's first name is Ringo. I a little bit of a mistake. Oh boy. Hey, everybody likes to play bingo. If you're a Catholic, let's dance around and we'll end this song. So that was the podcast for today. Hopefully it was informative. If you did not like this podcast, then this podcast is not called Mike's Daily Podcast, but the Morning Brew Podcast Daily. That's what it is. Run by Gen Zers. Next show, we'll have the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. And if you would like to call and fill me in on anything I missed, here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and we hear from A-Frame. Thank you for listening to Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yeah, how's the mic, Mike?
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!